Welcome to this Wednesday's edition of Connects Live by CX Forums. Today's Wednesday, January 13th, and we have our special guest and longtime friend, Claire Boscq-Scott, chiming in from Jersey Islands over in just off the coast of France. And Claire, you want to cut on your mic there for us, if you will?
Do you
That's
remember
great.
joining me here in Jersey quite a few years
Yes,
ago? You
I know that was quite a trip too. I really enjoyed it. It's a
did.
very interesting place you live over there, and you're like the person to go to for all things related to customer service on Jersey and all the islands.
Well, yeah, I guess about 11 years ago, my background is hospitality. I used to run hotels, and I realized that there was nobody in Jersey actually performing mystery shopping. So we had to bring people from the UK, pay for their flights, and everybody knew they were here because everybody rang each other to tell, oh, the inspectors is here, and and so I kind of I saw the gap in the market, and I kind of decided to go. So I packed my job, I sold my house, and I even got divorced at the time.
Oh my!
And then that was it. That was it. I started the business 11 years ago now.
Wow, 11 years. As you know, I used to do mystery shopping as a company, and we started it in '84. So I can't even count the years anymore. 36 years. Ran that company for about 25 years. But tell me about what's going on in the world of mystery shopping. And I know you have a book out now too that is catching fire. So tell us all about that and what's the world of mystery shopping these days like?
Sure, sure. I mean, I think it's been obviously a horrific time for everybody. Personally, in March, I kind of lost all my clients in 3 days and everything. I mean, it is a little island. I've got to explain. Jersey, it's 9 miles by 5 miles, and it's 100,000 people, right? It's probably just a large, village for you. So
Mhm.
there's only so much mystery shopping we could be doing in that environment. I was doing mystery shopping in the Isle of Man, in the Isle of Wight, and Guernsey. So there was other areas that I was doing it, but there is only such a very narrow kind of number of businesses which would entertain. So when everything went pear-shaped, I just went, what am I doing now?
Yeah.
What am I doing now? Um, but when I picked myself up from the floor and got myself back up, and I thought, well, you know what? I've been doing for the last 11 years is mystery shopping. It's employees engagements, it's customer experience. I can do the same thing what I was doing offline, online, what I was
Oh
doing
yeah.
offline, online, and offering more of a consultancy and strategic side of it, but also training and how to be a great mystery shopper, how to set up a mystery shopping program. Those kind of things which normally you would expect to go to a company, but so many small businesses really can't really afford large organization, try to do it themselves, don't really know how to do it, and then think, oh, this thing doesn't work, and just put it aside and as it didn't work. So helping smaller businesses to really look at how they can put a program together was things that I've been doing. I've been doing loads of mystery shopping and put some wigs on during the pandemic. I've been pretending to be a mystery shopper,
You've
glasses,
had to
hats,
disguise everything.
just to bring a bit
Right.
of fun with it, because I think the obviously the industry has taken a big hit, um, but it also now I think it opened up. I've been doing a big series of interviews with CEOs of mystery shopping companies during the pandemic, which were really interesting because everybody started looking at different things. So your communications channels have opened up, so why not mystery shopping the chat box? Why not mystery shopping the website? Why not mystery shopping things that perhaps we were not mystery shopping before? A virtual event, an online conversation with somebody, and all those kind of things kind of started coming up, which means that it opened up a whole new areas of mystery shopping.
So digital mystery shopping.
Absolutely. Digital mystery shopping has been a big thing.
Is there any kind of safety checks or things like that that you've been doing in the physical world, or you going in like doing a security check, make sure that people are spacing and doing what they need to do in person, if they're even allowed? I don't know.
Yes, I mean, a lot of businesses have been doing that. I personally have actually closed my operation of mystery shopping here,
Hmm.
which was a big thing. I mean, Mark, it's been 11 years. It was my baby. That
Yeah.
feeling when you're having to let something go. And I've had to take that decision to change really my business model completely
So what do you
from
move
running
to?
an operation to
More the
being there.
digital,
Yeah,
more
to be able
global?
to then do something, which means that now I can help and do more strategic side of things, and I can do it from anywhere in the world, you know,
Yeah. Well,
which
that's, I think everyone's gone through some sort of changes because of all this. And certainly, everyone's a level playing field all of a sudden.
mm,
We're all kind of dealing with Zoom and or other ways to communicate online, and certainly uh, having conferences and things like that online is become popular. I'm curious to know around the title of this talk, how mystery shopping helps to improve the service delivery. So tell me about how that exactly works.
well, I think you know that customers' expectations have changed. Customers' expectations even more so have changed with that pandemic. So things like perhaps were not a priority before the pandemic, like the 2 meters or the hands or the mask, are now a priority. And they want to see businesses proactively showing that they actually care for their employees and their customers. And that's a big thing. That is, if anything, I hope that this pandemic would have bring is that we need to bring more care into our businesses. We need to bring more care in the environment, in the people, and in our customers and what we do that way.
There's an old saying, I think Tom Peters had this. He was a management consultant for a long time. And what gets measured gets done. And so, what I found was an interesting phenomena of mystery shopping, particularly if you had some sort of incentives or rewards tied to it, is if everyone knows what they're being measured on, then they're going to do those things, hopefully, right? And the
Mm,
goal of the mystery shopper is to catch them in doing something right and
absolutely.
celebrate that versus catching them doing something wrong, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and I've seen, the famous phrase, "Do you want fries with that?" Right? If you're getting a bun or something, that was really promoted by mystery shopping because they said, if you say that, you could get rewarded, right?
Mm,
So that is an actual behavioral change
mhm.
that mystery shopping can do that no other method can really hit on.
Totally. And again, I think there's been a bit of a blasé things about mystery shopping over the last few years where people thought, oh no, we've got better method. But actually, mystery shopping is the only thing you can put a program on within 48 hours. You know exactly what's going on in your organization. You've got feedback, which gives you actions that you can take there and then and start improving your business. Of course, it has to be around a bigger kind of CX strategy. I get that. But when you talk CS strategy, you talk 6 months, you talk a year, to start seeing things and things implementing. Mystery shopping, bang. You do it, you get the result, you can get some action done.
And speed of result and speed of sharing what the finding is. I mean, back in when I was doing it, we were using mail and
Right.
fax, right? And so it would take a week or so to get the report in. And then we had to look, manually score it and enter it into the computer. Now
Mm,
all that's changed. And you've come in when that was a reality, especially the use of mobile devices to
absolutely.
capture anything from video to instant notes to photos.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious, are you looking at any of the other like research services that offer video and have an audience? A few names come to mind. Field Agent, for instance.
Mhm.
They have global people. You can go in there and just put in your order, you design the questionnaire that you want, or the report, and send them out. Are you doing anything like that now? Maybe using other services to implement the field work?
So I think there's different ways as well that of measuring and different KPIs. When we first started, even me 10 years ago, obviously I'm a young baby compared to you when you started, but it was very much tick boxes, isn't it? With the lights on, where they're wearing their name badges.
Hmm.
And, really over the last, I'd say 5-6 years, 5 years, um, we're bringing a lot more about emotion. We're
Hmm.
bringing a lot more about how did you feel about this? What when you left, how were you? Were you going to recommend it to somebody else because you felt really good? Or so those kind of very subjective questions are becoming very important now, and everything is to do with emotional connections. I mean, and I know a mystery shopper has got to be very objective and get to the facts, but if a company doesn't measure or understand how their customers are feeling, they're missing out on that real experience point. I think that's an important part of it. And so,
It's a lot of the expectation as well. You'd mentioned that earlier about expectations being a big part of the experience. And with mystery shoppers, I always had a challenge. I mean, we were doing 5,000 shops a month or something ridiculous. And I always had a challenge. Does this person even want to go to this place? Are they going out of their way? Is it the fifth McDonald's they visited today or whatever, right? What is the expectation of a shopper who's trained to go in and look if the lights are on and things are working versus a person that just, is an actual customer? Now, coming up with a formula that says the experience is equal to when the actual delivery is better than the expectation, or at least meets the expectation.
it's got to at least meet the expectations. I think when you are a shopper yourself, it is that emotions. You got looked after. They went wow, but somebody's really great experience could be an average experience to somebody else. So that's why having different program, having a customer satisfaction survey
Mhm.
with your customers and having a mystery shopping program gives you two different results that you can then analyze, and you can see the gaps between one and the other. But to
Mhm.
come back to mystery shoppers, this is the mystery shoppers are the key. And companies now, like you said, technology is advanced now, but companies now, before a mystery shopper actually go anywhere, they've got to fill in those forms. They've got to ask their age. They've got to ask what car they drive. They've got to ask, they've got children. So they really are really understanding the demographic of that shopper. And then they really are training them to what's required. So every program, I know I was doing it. If I had a hotel, I would train a shopper on the hotel. If I had a dealership, I would train the shoppers to make sure that they're understanding their requirements. And when you're doing, of course, it's easy for me. I was doing maybe 150, 200 visits, a month compared to 5,000. But that's what technology helps now, is that training is can be videoed. You can have questionnaires, you can have quizzes, you can have all that to ensure that your shoppers are at the highest level as possible and giving that great quality. Definitely.
Absolutely. Knowing the shopper and having relationships with them, in the early days, we would meet in, AOL chat rooms or something like that, right? And they really enjoyed understanding our side of the business as an operator. We've gone through a lot through the years with mystery shopping, and it certainly has so many unique benefits around it, of being there and knowing that they're looking at operational things
Mhm.
as well as experiential. And as long as you can sort of keep those two in mind and sort of separate them out, here's the experiential, like you say, the customer sat survey, as
Mhm.
well as what is the experience of the shopper. And then you have over here, what is operational, right? today's data platforms are huge in that they monitor everything from the purchases to any kind of comments you may make on social media, et cetera. It's that ecosystem of feedback. Um, I know that there's also some challenges in Europe, and we have one of our guests today has a question for you, Carl. Come on screen here if you don't mind. Turn your camera on and your mic, and he's got a great question here for you.
Yeah, Claire, I was kind of curious, when you was talking about all the digital channel opportunities around secret shopping or mystery shopping. I know those are two interchangeable terms, but speak to the legal aspects of that. I'm just thinking of if you're doing something in a digital channel, you might be inclined to record it or whatever. How do you handle that?
Actually, we are. You're still a member of the MSPA, so the Mystery Shopping Providers Professional Association has done a lot of work actually in putting together when data protection came. That was 2 years ago, and we all had to be absolutely on the dot as to what questions we were asking, what data we were keeping, and so that's been a huge program to change with actually our IT system, our mystery shopping software. So they were complying with the requirement and we were complying with the requirement. So every single mystery shoppers signs, their life away almost to say that they're agreeing for, their data to be used for that specific purpose, and everything has to be really kind of very, very thorough in terms of the data protection. So yes, there's been a lot of work has been done, and every company within MSPA is very complying and I think that's what it is as well when you're a member of a professional association and using a member of a professional association means that they using best practice, their ethical conduct is following the association, and that's quite reassuring for the clients because they know that their data isn't going to be going here, there and everywhere. And there's a lot of stuff that is done as well for clients, obviously within their organization, but I used to do a lot of competitors analysis. So this is again another story when you're actually mystery shopping the competition. You need to make sure you don't actually take names, you don't record video recording. So again, there's another layer of what you can do when you're doing competitors analysis.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. When you said MSPA, I'm not familiar with that. So what is that? That's the professional organization?
Yeah. So Mystery Shopping Professional Association. I'm going to put the link here in the.
Okay, great.
Actually, Carl, where are you? Are you in
Boston? Oh,
you're in America. So MSPA.
Americas.
Yeah, MSPA America org.
Dash Americas. Yep.
Yeah.
I got it.
You got it? Okay. Yeah. So, always advised, because there are just so many companies who do mystery shopping, and actually sometimes it's a bit of a backflip really, because if a business uses a company who are not really following the right procedures and they're not doing quite the right thing, it's backsays on us, who are professional, who are following data, who are complying to ethical conduct. And so, I'll always advise to check out the website and make sure that, you're connecting with somebody who's a member.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, Carl, as a matter of fact, I was one of the co-founders of that particular.
You were, yeah.
Years and years ago.
That's how we met.
Exactly.
Wow.
We have another question from Rich. And Rich, if you will, go ahead and come on screen with us here and ask your question.
All right. If you can let me in.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hey, Claire, how are you?
Hi, I'm so cool.
Nice to meet you from around the other side of the world. Listen, I have a question I posted. We're a bank in Boston too. I'm with Carl in a lot of ways, but we've had a couple of different mystery shop programs that have learned from one another, and we've had challenges. I mean, we've gotten good insight, but we've had certain challenges. One of which was shoppers' bias. Right? There's only so many of them. They get, even though we prescribe the kind of thing they're assessing, because when you walk into a bank branch, it's not just the necessary easy things. I'm depositing a check or withdrawing money. You know, it's about a challenging thing about handling a fraud situation or a new account opening situation. You know, there's levels of complexity about what you're shopping for, right? And we did our shops around the latter, not the routine. And when we prescribed the shoppers to assess what it's like from the customer's experience to do one of the more complex interactions, we had very, very high scores, which means our employees do a good job. But the problem is the scores that the shoppers have given consistently across a couple of different mystery shop companies were out of whack with what the actual customers' experiences are and what the managers' oversight of listening to their folks are. So there is always a disconnect by some measure of the shopper scores and the quote real scores. And I think partly that is due to the fact that you're a proxy as a customer. You're not actually the emotional customer, the actual customer, and there could be some disconnect because the customers don't necessarily understand what the agent or the teller is talking about as much. They may not be as informed, and it's hard for the agent to necessarily feel completely independent of that. So can you speak to that challenge in your industry and how to overcome it?
Yes, I think, well, obviously there's the way that the questionnaire is, the questions are being asked, and what are the questions being asked? Are you asking for shoppers to be your own customers or not? Because again, you've got that bias in between. If you asking for shoppers which already are a customer of your bank, there's already an outside bias, unconscious bias, of course, but there's still, you know, this is my bank. Do I really want to say something bad about them? You know, because then they give
the shoppers are not coming across as our customers because obviously, you know, they would ask, you know, for your social and everything else.
That's what I mean.
They're coming in as potential customers.
Right. Okay. They're coming as,
and so they're coming in as, you know, they don't know who that person is supposedly, and they're saying, okay, I am here to open up a new checking account, and we're assessing the extent to which our employees understand how to navigate these sets of questions so that they can understand that potential customers' need set and direct them accordingly to the right products that fit their need.
Yeah.
So we're trying to assess our staff's ability to manage like a new account opening, for example, a little bit more complex thinking process. Not how clean the branch is, not you know, are the brochures all aligned perfectly? It's more an experiential assessment.
Sure. And is this, do you have the specific scenarios? So you'll have your questionnaire and you have specific scenarios. So you have all that set up.
Yeah. And again, this was at the highest level of our retail bank, you know, because we've had this experience. We were saying, our executive was saying, I don't want to see a 90 score unless there's a 90 score that is worthy of it.
Yeah.
I want you to really work at making your associate at the bank go through this. Do not be helpful. Let them struggle a little bit and be fair in how you assess them. But these are the behaviors that we are looking for.
Okay.
Connect with them. Are you able to advance their story to a point where they can find a solution that makes sense?
Yeah.
And we give them prescribed things to look for, and yet the scores always were much higher than the same kinds of questions we asked our actual paying customers on the same behaviors.
You know, it's almost like an insurance policy with mystery shopping. You expect high scores because a lot of it's operational. A lot of it doesn't even have to do with the person that you interact with. Sometimes it's the atmosphere or the facilities or the ability to get through on a phone. And those things really need to be sort of indexed along with satisfaction scores or NPS or whatever else. So it becomes just another part of your dashboard that I've seen. And if you really want to wrap it up to some sort of score, you can use weighted scores and things like that. And because the sample size is one usually, I mean, one visit or once a month or something like that.
Once or twice a month, right?
Yeah. So it really is a cousin to market research. It's not necessarily research, and we've seen research change a lot. But I do want to move into the next part of our program very soon, and that's going to be our networking. So thank you very much, Claire, for coming on and sharing your wisdom today. It's always great to chat with you. Rich, you can turn your camera off for a second, and we'll close out the show here. So Claire, thank you so much for coming out. I really want to come back over to Jersey, maybe digitally this time. We'll do a digital presentation over there. It's a lot cheaper on airfare. So if you're watching this on as our replay for our audience who's connecting with us on a replay, we're getting ready to go into some networking. There's a dozen or so people here today, and we're going to get to know each other. It's not going to be recorded, but I do encourage you to come every Wednesday, except next Wednesday. We're not going to be doing anything during the inauguration day. We're taking our first break after, I think, 8 shows or something. So we'll be kicking back up again after that. And every week you can come here and meet people and learn something. My name is Mark Michelson. Thank you, Claire Boscq-Scott, for your wisdom. We're going to close out the show now, and then we'll go into some networking. So those of you who are here, please stay. We'll be right back at you. All right.